All right, welcome everyone to episode 8, Brunch Cocktails. We're going to be making 3 brunch cocktails today. We have a Bloody Mary, a Sangria, a rosé Sangria with strawberry and citrus. And then we're also going to make a drink called a Weekend Warrior, which isn't, that name is not really a classic name. That's just the name that I have for it. This is a sweet tea vodka cocktail. We also have 2 different food additions today. One, you have some brunch sweets, some brunch pastries, and then we also have our traditional cheese and dip pairing. So we'll be discussing all of that. If you haven't taken your cheese out of the refrigerator, you should do that now. And if you haven't set your oven to 350 degrees for the brunch pastries, you should also do that now. And then lastly, we can get started making a drink. Let's get a drink in everyone's hands. I know I'm ready for one. I think we should start off with the Bloody Mary. So what I did with the Bloody Mary to try and make it a little bit easier for everyone, instead of us having like 12 different containers, I put the spices into a couple different groups and grouped them together. So our mise en place for the Bloody Mary is going to be.
Bye-bye.
We have our tomato juice, so we're going to start off with. I put this in a larger container so we can actually make the Bloody Mary mix right in this container. We don't need a separate container. We can put everything right in here, shake it back up, and we're good to go. We have, in addition to that, you'll see a mixture that says pickle and lemon juice. You'll see a wet spice mixture and a dry spice mixture. So I grouped some things together to hopefully make it easier for everyone.
Did you say we have, oh, never mind, I got it. Pickle and lemon juice, I see it, okay. I have to tell you, this is a funny thing to tell you, is that my sister Michelle is the one that set this up. I know nothing about making cocktails or drinks, but she's on her way. And so bear with me if I have to ask you some questions.
Do not hesitate to ask any questions.
Oh,
There's a chance that somebody else in the room has the same question as you do.
Okay, thank you.
So don't hesitate at all. I don't mind if you record it. That's not a problem at all. We do also record it on our side as well if you need it. If you need us to send you a link. All right, so what we're going to do with this is we're going to take our tomato juice and we're just going to mix the spices, lemon juice, pickle juice, all in here. So this is really a basic tomato juice. You could do something different with like an heirloom tomato juice. There's a company, we used to use Green Meadow Farms heirloom tomato juice. It actually just became unavailable this spring, so we're in the market for a new tomato juice. But this is a very basic tomato juice. I wanted to kind of show what you could do and how you could make a basic tomato juice that you'd find at any supermarket and into, I think, a really nice mix. So our pickle and lemon juice, this is 3/4 pickle juice, 1/4 lemon juice. We use it. Our pickle brine is a little spicy, but you could certainly use a dill pickle brine. If anyone is interested in our recipe, I'm happy to share that as well. It is, I mean, I have obviously gigantic proportions. We make gallons of Bloody Mary mix at the restaurant for each weekend. So I can make it a little bit smaller size for everyone. So we're going to add our pickle and lemon juice in here. Next, we're going to add our wet spice mixture. This was all portioned out so that you can add the entirety of each of these containers into your mixture. The wet spice mixture is horseradish, which is a traditional addition for Bloody Mary mix. Sriracha is our choice for a hot sauce. You can use Tabasco. You can use Louisiana sauce is another favorite of mine. We like Sriracha. It gets the spice, but in addition to that, it also is a little bit thicker than other sauces, so you're getting some body there as well. And lastly, you have Worcestershire sauce, which kind of gives it that savory note. So I'm just going to sort of pinch the container here and just drop everything in. If you like it a little less spicy, you don't have to use all of this. You could also make it, test it, and then come back and add more spice later. This one, although, is gonna, I mean, you're gonna have some, it's almost like you have two different spice channels. You have the horseradish spice, which sort of gets you right in the nose. And then you have the heat from pepper and the curry powder that is gonna be a little bit more in your mouth. So if you have an aversion to spice or you wanna go a little bit less spicy, definitely on the dry spice mixture, which you're gonna do less of, start halfway. See if you like it, test it out before you commit to the entire packet of seasoning here. So after you do your wet spice mixture, we're going to go to our dry spice mixture. This is a mixture of curry powder, salt, ground celery seed, and ground black pepper.
You put all of it in?
I put all of it in.
Okay.
But if you're hesitant on the spice, you can go a little bit later, test it out, and then come back to it.
Okay.
After that, we're going to put our top right back on. And give that a good shake. At this point, we have 11, 12 ounces in here. So this is enough for multiple Bloody Marys. Bloody Mary mix also does store really well. It's one of those mixtures that you're going to create that can sit in the fridge for a couple days, and it almost gets better a day or two in after everything sort of comes together and has a chance to incorporate. So this is our Bloody Mary mix, ready to serve now. If you want to taste it by itself, you certainly have enough in there to do that. But we can get started with our cocktail. For a Bloody Mary, there's no carbonation, obviously, so you can use any glass you'd like. It's more traditional to do a tall glass, but doesn't matter. It can be anything you'd like. One other way you can gussy up your Bloody Marys, if you'd like, is to you can make your Bloody Mary mix into ice cubes, or just tomato juice, and make your ice cubes have flavor to them. So that way, when your mix has been sitting there for a couple minutes, it's starting to dilute, it doesn't get watered down. You're going to continue to add flavor to it. So that's one trick you can use at home.
Hey, Paula, forget it. I'm not going to be able to come.
Oh, wait.
So this drink is just going to be a build drink. And what that means is you're just going to build it straight in the glass. We don't need to have a shaker. You don't want to shake a Bloody Mary. You're just going to build it straight together, and then you're just going to stir it with a spoon just to have everything come together. So for that, we're going to take our glass, fill it up with ice. All right. And then next step we have our vodka. My base here is about 1 part vodka to 3 part Bloody Mary mix. You can go any different directions. If you like a little less alcohol, you can do more Bloody Mary, less vodka. You can sort of alternate this. We're at the point where we have 2 ingredients left. So you can adjust this to your taste, but that is my ratio, 1 to 3. So we're gonna do 2 ounces of our vodka right on top of the ice. And then you can fill the glass up if you'd like, or you can measure out 6 ounces of Bloody Mary mix. And just pour it straight over the top.
Hey, Len, did we miss, were we supposed to put the dry spice in?
Yes.
Whoops.
No worries. You can get a second to catch up. If you already mixed it together, did you already mix it together?
No, we're good.
Okay. All right. All right, so we have our drink. It's already built in the glass. You can see that it has like a little bit of, it's like a little more vodka down the bottom. So you just want to get your spoon in here and just do a quick, once around. We're not trying to stir it too much. We don't want to dilute the ice too much. We just want to make everything incorporated. I did also include a small garnish for the Bloody Mary. You have some blue cheese stuffed olives. Bloody Mary garnishes can go a wide range of ways. You can do celery is the most traditional. You can do citrus. You can do olives. I like something small, and I actually do like a blue cheese stuffed olive as a small Bloody Mary garnish. I'm not one that likes, a shrimp leg, crab legs and fried chicken on the top of Bloody Mary. That's, to me, is too much. I want something small just to enjoy with cocktail. So I just do a blue cheese stuffed olive.
This is delicious.
Thank you. Cheers, everyone.
Can I ask, when I try to record, since Shelley's not here, it says I have to ask permission. So is there something you need to do on your end? I don't know.
I've given permission. You're good to go.
Okay.
You can also wait, and I'll be able to send you a link to a full recording of the entire class. What
Okay.
I'll do is, and I'll do this for everyone, I'm going to put my email address in the chat box.
Okay.
Do not hesitate to reach out with any questions or any requests for anything.
Okay. Thank you.
While we're on that, I mentioned that there's not really a specific pairing for each one, but I will talk about each of the food items that we have. The first one that I want to mention is the quiche. Our pastry department really did, I think, a fantastic job with these pastries here. You can eat the quiche cool, you can eat the quiche warm, you can make it hot. However you'd like to do that is your preference. We sent out instructions for that. If you did not get them, you can, for the quiche, you can reheat it at 350 degrees for about 15 minutes. You just want to get it warm again. If you're looking for that, you don't necessarily need to cook it anymore. It is ready to go. And then we also have our cheese and dip pairing. I'll go for a sandwich a little bit later today. Let me see.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
Hi, baby.
No worries. As far as the cheese pairing for this course, I really like the smoked salmon. I'm looking for something that's like savory with the Bloody Mary. You don't want to go with anything that has any sweetness at all. So I want savory with this. So I think the smoked salmon dip with the bagel chips is perfect pairing for a Bloody Mary. So you have the smoked salmon dip with the everything bagel spice sprinkled on top. And Chef Mike wanted that to be served with bagel chips. All right. What brand of vodka do we prefer? You have Tito's in your container today. I think you can go a lot of different directions with vodka. Personally, vodka to me is like cooking with water. So there's a lot of directions you can go. For local vodkas, I think Penn 1681 from Philadelphia Stilling is nice. And Boardroom also makes a very nice vodka. I apologize for that, Kelly. Give me a second. We'll catch up a little bit later. All right. So we went through the quiche. We have the smoked salmon dip, and we have our Bloody Mary next. What I'd like to do is let's do the mixed drink, the Weekend Warrior. So if you need a second to get your mise en place ready, take a second to do that. I also want to switch to a second camera and see if this will work. That's not it. My camera skills are lacking. Can't seem to get it right today. So our mise en place for our Weekend Warrior cocktail. This one requires normal cocktail making items. So we're going to use our jigger. We have our shaker set, the mesh strainer and hawthorn strainer. Now we need a glass to put it in. I like a rocks glass here. And then our software for this cocktail, we have sweet tea vodka, limoncello, lemon juice and honey syrup, iced tea, and then in your container, you also have a packet with some fresh mint. So we've been trying to find a way to hold the mint. How did everyone's mint hold up? I'm wrapping it in sort of like a damp paper towel and then putting it in plastic.
It's fine.
Ours is great.
Wonderful. So that seems to be our secret for that. So with this cocktail, we're gonna get our shaker and we're gonna start from the bottom and work our way up with our ingredients. We're gonna keep the iced tea off to the side because that's actually gonna be our topper on the glass after we finish it. So we're gonna start with our honey syrup. It's a ½ ounce. The recipes here, by the way, are for one drink. You have enough to make 2 for all of these. I'm gonna do a ½ ounce of our lemon juice. ½ ounce of limoncello. And then 1.5 ounces of our sweet tea vodka. The sweet tea vodka I like is Deep Eddy, but there are others out there. Sweet Carolina is very nice, Firefly. It's all very similar. And then you're gonna take half of the mint that you have. And what I like to do for mint drinks, I don't like to muddle. I don't like to break up the mint too much. I don't like the bitterness that you get from the stems when you're muddling. I don't like the drink to be green. I like to have little pieces in the drink that are getting stuck in my teeth or getting stuck in the straw. So what I want to do is actually I want to keep the mint mostly whole. But what I do is sort of just smack the mint to wake it up. And it's just a couple hits in your hand. You'll start to smell the aromatics immediately. And then that's the mint that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for like a bitter muddy mint. I don't want it to be brown. I don't want it to be like all shriveled up and inside the cocktail. I just want this bright aromatics. So just a couple of smacks in your hand right before it goes into the shaker is all you need. That's going to go right on top of our liquid. Remember, we haven't added ice yet. That's going to be the last thing we do. All right, so we have our honey syrup, our lemon juice, our limoncello, our sweet tea vodka, and our mint in our shaker. We're going to grab some ice to fill up our shaker. We're also going to grab some ice for our glass while we're at it. Now, when you're putting ice in your cocktails, you want to make sure that you're putting more ice in your shaker than the liquid. You want the ice overflowing on top of the liquid. Okay. And when we shake, we're shaking parallel to the ground. You don't want to go up and down. You want to go. We're all in the same place. Anyone having any issues? Okay. After that, I am going to use 2 strainers for this. You don't have to. If you're just using the Hawthorne, you may get little pieces of mint. That's perfectly fine. I prefer to do 2 strainers here. So I'm going to strain right over top through the mesh strainer. That way you get all the bits of mint right into the glass here. Okay. And then lastly, our garnish on this is actually going to be some fresh iced tea right on the top, just sort of poured right over top here. And that's just maybe an ounce or so. You have probably a little extra iced tea, maybe a ½ ounce, just on the top, just to kind of get that sort of regular iced tea flavor there. The sweet tea vodka is going to get you some iced tea flavor, but nothing can really replicate fresh iced tea. And cheers. This cocktail is sort of my my vacation guilty pleasure cocktail.
Nice.
We like to use limoncello here to kind of give it a little bit more depth. You get some sort of sweet lemon flavors in addition to like the bright acidic lemon flavors that you would get from just the lemon juice. So that's why we want to mix up and get a little bit of depth on the lemon flavor. This cocktail sort of it's like a variation on it's all a variation on an Arnold Palmer because everything started there. But you have a John Daly, which is an alcoholic version of an Arnold Palmer, and we just added some mint and limoncello to it. Awesome. We'll take a second to adjust, to kind of clean up our station here, and we'll discuss some of the other food options you have. We're going to talk about the coffee cake right now, so that if you haven't had a chance to put the cinnamon roll in the oven, you should probably do that now for the last cocktail. And with the cinnamon rolls, by the way, you're not looking to cook anything. You really just want to warm it up. So keep it away from your heating element as much as possible. And just try and warm it up to soften it up a bit. The coffee cake is a coffee cake made with a strawberry swirl. Really delicious. I think they do some fantastic work in our pastry kitchen. I don't have the chef here, and when the chef's here, I get this little additional thing where he'll talk for a minute, and I get to eat some of the food as I'm doing it. I really don't want to do that right now, and everybody would just watch me eat. So I'm going to save this till later, but it's killing me having all this food sitting in front of me.
I'm sorry, which one did you say put in the oven, the coffee cake or the cinnamon roll?
The cinnamon roll is going to go in the oven.
Gotcha. Okay.
The coffee cake is ready to eat. That one you can eat straight out of the container.
Okay. And one last question. I was on the phone with Shelly trying to get here. The vodka Bloody Mary, was that supposed to go in the Bloody Mary drink? I might have missed that step.
No, so we keep the vodka and the Bloody Mary separate, and then you build them together in the cocktail.
Gotcha.
You certainly could mix them together, but we just keep it separate. That way, if you like it to be a little less boozy or more boozy, you can adjust to your taste.
Okay.
But no, I would keep those separate, and that way you can sort of make them to order. And also that's why if somebody just wants, I know there are people out there that don't drink, you can have a virgin Bloody Mary.
Okay.
What kind of sweet tea vodka is this? This is Deep Eddy. I think their sweet tea vodka is one of the best out there. Let's see if there's any other questions in the chat. Okay, we're all caught up there. Okay. For our cheese pairing, we have the Cowboy Coffee goat cheese with a golden raisin chutney. The Cowboy Coffee is rubbed on the outside with espresso, and it's cave aged, I believe, for 6 months. And this is, I'm gonna say it's Goat Rodeo. Goat Rodeo Dairy Farm and Dairy out in Pittsburgh. Is the farm that we use to get this cheese. The golden raisin chutney is golden raisins, capers, onions, I believe, and then you cook it down until it gets to this like syrupy consistency. You also have some crostini pieces to enjoy with that. All right. No cheese. Oh, okay. Kelly, I'll catch up with you in a bit. I apologize. I think we may have just mixed up the box there. Okay. Same thing with you, Judith. I'll check in with both of you towards the end there. All right. As everyone caught up, everyone together, I have a question. What is limoncello? So limoncello is a cordial that is made with neutral grain spirit and usually lemon peels, sometimes lemon juice. Sometimes it's really just meant to be the oils that are extracted from the peels of the lemons. You have them with a sort of a variety of sweetness. I'm looking for something right in the middle, and this is Arvero limoncello. Pardon me for just 1 second. Okay, just to address everyone's questions. There were 2 add-ons to the you had the option of getting the brunch add-ons or the cheese. The cheese and brunch pastries weren't in the same kit. So if you picked the add-on brunch sweets, you would get the cinnamon bun coffee cake and quiche. And if you picked the cheese add-ons, you would get the coffee cowboy, the goat cheese whipped ricotta, and the smoked salmon dip. So I think there's a couple people that have messaged me. The orders that you had just were for the brunch sweets. I apologize if we were not clear on our side that it was 2 different items. So I'm sorry for that if that was confusing. Okay. Next up, we have our sangria. All right, we're all in the same place. With the sangria, what I wanted to do was have the fruit steeping with the wine beforehand. I didn't want to give everyone fruit that you can start steeping and then the flavor just isn't going to be there in time for us to drink it. So what I did was I started steeping this fruit Thursday. So you have you're going to get some characteristics from all the citrus and fruit that we added here. Can crack it open. It will have some pressure because you do have an alcoholic beverage with live sugars, so there are going to be some additional fermentation. If we let it go, it would ferment even more. But we started with a rosé. It was actually the rosé from Penswoods, which is a local winery, if you're not familiar with it, right out in Chadds Ford. Fantastic. You should go out and visit after you go to White Dog Cafe in Glen Mills. A good spot. You can go to White Dog first and then stop at Penswoods. But this is their rosé. We pour it at all of the White Dogs. What I did here to add to it is just fresh fruit. There's nothing else in the wine right now. So it's strawberries, oranges, and lemons. You can let this sit for a day or two if you'd like. I wouldn't go, longer than a week. But also at some point, the fruit is going to have given off everything that it can give off. So you'll start to see some discoloration in the fruit. That's what we're looking for. We want it to be that way. But when you get to that point, you can probably take the fruit out of your sangria. You shouldn't just leave it in there permanently. You can get everything you want out of those fruits, keep your sangria, but let's separate the sangria and the fruit and discard the fruit at that point. Once it's given off everything, it's no longer infusing anymore, and you're just sort of getting some muddy flavors from leftover fruit steeping in alcohol. We are going to make some additions to this. If you want to try it by itself before we add the liquor and other things to it, please just have a taste of it. But it's not complete, just so you know. Carly from Penswoods is on here, and if she wants to step up to the mic for a second, she can tell you a little bit about the rosé. I'm sure she won't hesitate to do that.
Hello. So the rosé is it's a Pinot Noir based, but you can make sangria with any type of rosé. This is a dry rosé. We harvest the grapes specifically to make rosé, so it's not harvested when we harvest our red grapes. About 3 weeks prior to the red grape harvest. The grapes themselves are red, obviously, since they're Pinot Noir. But enjoy.
Awesome. Thank you, Carly. Didn't mean to put you on the spot. I did mean to put you on the spot a little bit.
Rob.
So with sangria, it's meant to be, you're going to add a couple of ingredients to it. I put together a sort of sangria mixture here for everyone. Instead of getting a couple of smaller containers, this is a mixture of triple sec, apple brandy, lemon juice, and honey. It's meant to be just like the Bloody Mary, where you can pour the entirety of this container into your sangria here. And it's meant to really just round out the flavors. I want the acidity to sort of brighten up all the flavors there. The honey just to add a little bit of sweetness. Apple brandy. So brandy and cognac are traditional sangria additions. I like to turn it a little bit and use an apple brandy. Boulard Calvados is my favorite. And I think the flavor that you get from that, especially when you're doing strawberry, the apple flavor that comes through here really complements the fruit that we're using. In addition to that, you have triple sec, which is an orange flavor as well. So we're bumping up the alcohol a bit. We have some sweet components. We have some fruit components that we're adding, and it's really just making the drink a little bit more complex. So we're going to add this right on top. Put our cap back on, and we're not looking to like shake it to the point where it's aerating. We don't want to break down any of these fruits. We just want to incorporate everything. So it's really just sort of like a tumble. That's all we're doing. So the nose changes a little bit. Before I got heavy on the strawberry, the aromatics from the strawberries really came through. Now it's a little more rounded, which is what we wanted anyway. So with sangria, you can do it in any glass. I like to do it with a wine glass. That's what we do at the restaurant, but you can do anything. So we're also going to build this one right in the glass. So we're going to take our glass, add some ice to it. So we have our glass. That's the ice. And then there are two ingredients left. We have our sangria, and then you have some soda. You can use any soda you'd like. I think it needs a touch of sweetness. So you all have a lemon lime soda or Sprite or 7-Up in your containers. I think the sweetness from that just balances the cocktail. If you want to mix it up and do something a little different, grapefruit soda would certainly work well. You can do club soda if it's a little bit too sweet for you. But just that carbonation right on top, giving a little bit of effervescence. If you wanted to add a little bit of like sparkling wine, you could certainly do that also. But something carbonated to give it just a little fizz right at the end. So you had 8 ounces of sangria to start, and then you added another ounce there. I think you're with the fruit soaking up some of the liquid, you're probably at about 8 ounces of liquid in here. So you're going to be pouring 4 ounces into your glass. It's about half this bottle. If some fruit comes out, it's perfectly fine. This is not like necessarily an ideal container because of the smaller mouth. You can't really get the fruit out to put it inside the glass, but you certainly could if you were using a different container. Put about 4 ounces in our glass. And then you want to top that with just an ounce of your soda. And if you can get a couple pieces out of your container, by all means, use that fruit as your garnish. It's still at the point where it's not completely saturated. The color is not completely gone. You can use that as your garnish. But cheers with the rosé sangria.
Cheers.
This variation of a cocktail is actually going to be on our spring summer menu at Rosalie. We're going to be doing a rosé strawberry sangria there on the menu that's going to roll out next Wednesday. All right. Is everyone caught up? Are we all in the same place? Headed to Rosalie tonight? Fantastic. I'm going to be there. I'm running service bar tonight. It's going to be great. I'm really excited. Definitely stop up to the bar, say hi. I'm going to be the one making a bunch of drinks tonight. Let's do our food pairings here. I don't want to forget that. So you had the cinnamon roll was our last one here. If you put it in the oven, it should be warm at this point. You also had a cream cheese icing with the cinnamon roll. You don't need to do anything with it. If you have a warm cinnamon roll, you can sort of spread the cream cheese icing right on top. That's just enough heat to help melt the icing just enough that you want. You don't necessarily want it to be dripping. You just want it warm enough to kind of smooth right over top. And then lastly, our cheese pairing is the goat cheese whipped ricotta with crispy onions and a balsamic onion jam. While we're at it, there was someone that is gluten-free. This is gluten-free. So just, I know sometimes onions aren't, crispy onions aren't, they are chef made it specifically so that it was gluten-free.
Thanks, Len.
Of course. And you have some leftover crostini bagel chips. You can use either for dipping this. I'm really a huge fan of what Chef Mike is doing. Chef Mike, by the way, who put these all together, is out the White Dog in Glen Mills, if you haven't had a chance to stop out there. While we're at it, just a quick plug for the restaurants. We have 4 White Dog cafes. They are all open now. The White Dog Cafe in University City. There's one in Haverford, one in Wayne, and one in Glen Mills. The Glen Mills location is our newest location. And like I said before, it's about 10 minutes from the tasting room at Pennswoods Winery. In addition to that, we have Autograph Brasserie out in Wayne. Rosalie is our newest restaurant, an Italian restaurant in Wayne. We also have Louie Louie in University City and the Mishulu down on the river. I do have to not finish these, but continue to try these. Make sure they're good. You don't want to.
You're gonna have to clean them out anyway. Might as well drink them.
Yeah, that's just wasteful.
Yes, incredibly. Thank you, Len. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.